Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much. I gotta say, I think we're in the early 20s of episodes of What Was I Thinking? And I'm really enjoying it. I'm really having fun with it. I feel like I'm just catching my stride. And to be honest, today is probably my favorite episode so far. So you picked a good one if now is the first time listening. But go back. I've done solo episodes, started having guests on. We're always evolving here on What Was I Thinking. If you didn't know, if you came from the guest, my name is Syatt. That was a very effeminate way. I just put my hand on my chest. My, this is Lisa. My name is Lee. I'm the host of What Was I Thinking, and I used to get paid to be high on the internet. That's welcome to my LinkedIn profile. Um, I'm doing great in South Florida. It's beautiful here. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be here. I should find out within the next week or so what the plan is, but eventually be heading back up to the Boston area just as soon as the snow's done. But I don't really have much in way. I'm just so excited about this week's podcast. I'll talk to you guys in the outro for a minute. But it's almost like when you have when you start dating someone and like you're just in the fun having sex phase, and like you come over and you shake hands, you're like, nice to see you again, but then you just have sex all day. Like, I want this podcast to have sex with your ears because I was just so I've done this intro so many times that I probably should take out I want this podcast to have sex with your ears, but I I had a really fun time with it. So I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. I just want to say very quickly, please follow me on social media, which is awful to say. My name is Lee Syatt, S as in Sam, Yatt, and I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Lee Syatt. We do masterminds. We do four times a week workouts. See, I can't even speak. And then I also do podcast consulting. All of that information is on my social media. So with that being said, I am super, super, super thankful and excited to introduce you to Johnny Mitchell. He's a comic in LA, very funny guy. Him and I are twins. If you didn't know, if you're listening, no, he is basically the antithesis of me. He is 6'6", 190 pounds of just beautiful, beautiful man, and I don't have any problem saying that he's a beautiful man, with an amazing, funny story, and I don't want to ruin any of it for you. So without further ado, here is Johnny Mitchell. I like this on Zoom. People might think we're the same height.
Yeah, here, hold on.
they have no idea. Oh my god! Fucking, How tall are you? How tall
I think
are
I'm
you?
taller than you. Even on Zoom, I think I'm taller than you, Lee.
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah, let's see. Let me do that. There we go. Perfect.
I am 6'6".
Oh my god! Even before we get into what we're going to talk about, how amazing is that? Like,
it's too much. It's too much.
Really?
I'll tell you the perfect height: 6'3". Oh,
you're complaining about 3 inches?
oh, dude, I'm telling you, 6'3" is like.
So what's so bad about 6'6"?
It's too big because you can't fit places. You can't. Flying is a nightmare.
Right, everyone complains when people put their seat back, and I'm like, it doesn't bother me at all.
Doesn't bother you, yes, but and then you have to answer questions about your height, you know.
Right, yeah, I would love to. I'm 5'4". I would kill to be 5'6". 5'6" would be all.
You got an inch on Kevin Hart, dude.
Oh, at least I got something on him. Jesus Christ.
Kevin Hart's looking at you like you're 5'4". Oh, what I would.
Is he really 5'3"?
Yeah, he's 5'3", dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. When did you have your growth spurt? I'm still waiting for mine, but
15.
And you went from what to 6? Like, what did you start at?
From 5. This is insane. I went from 5'9" to 6'6", and from 15 to 19.
Wow.
Yeah, and I went from 5'9" to in less than 2 years. I went from 5'9" to 6'4", and that last 2 inches, crept up over the following years. You know what I mean?
I feel like I've been the same height since like middle school. Like I honestly
Oh
don't.
yeah. And
I
you were
don't think I
probably
ever.
shaving at 12.
No, no. It came in late and it's still not even that good. But as I lose weight, the beard like gets closer and it looks better. Like sometimes when you're really fat, there's just too much skin for the beard to cover. So I
There's
I
too
mean
much surface area.
yeah. Oh God. And you're 6'6". How much do you weigh?
190.
God damn it. You're like Israel Adesanya. You're pretty
I
much
am.
you're the white
I
Israel
am.
Adesanya.
I am
You're the,
basically that.
you're the Israel
I am
Adesanya of comedy.
I am the UFC. I am a UFC fighting. I'm in UFC fighting shape. Don't
You
you forget
are.
it.
Do you work out a lot, or is it? Are you one of the assholes who just like eats burgers but is still amazing shape?
No. I don't work out nearly enough. Like
Well, what
it,
does that mean?
it means like I'm getting too skinny. Like when
Oh
you don't work
no.
out, you go. When you don't work out, you go. Shoo. When I don't work out, I go. And I just contract into like a skeleton. So
Oh,
I need to start doing more. I look, I'm like a fucking, when I'm working out, when I'm on my shit, dude, I am a fucking handsome kid.
yeah, you're
But
handsome. You're handsome. You're handsome right now. But so, what? Do you not eat, or do you just have like the metabolism of a
I
horse?
get the metabolism, but also like if I'm on the road, I'm so fucking busy that I'll just go, I will go, I won't eat till 4 p.m. sometimes. It's like
Are you
intermittent
serious?
fasting. It's intermittent fucking fasting.
That's what I'm doing. But the entire day, I'm like, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. And then and then I just eat, and it's oh God, you're everything I want to be, Johnny Mitch. I'm so happy to have you on here.
See, I want a
Um,
hot podcast. Like,
oh,
so it's everybody wants
trust
something
me,
else.
I would trade every single one of my podcasts to be 6'6" and 190. Oh, geez, I'd be happy. I don't even
You're
know.
looking
Oh,
good though, man. Have you lost some weight?
50 pounds.
Congrats,
I
dude.
think I'm
That's
trying.
what's up.
I'm trying. It's I got a ways to go. But like my goal, and I'm, like your weight is still too high for me, but I'm like that's my like goal right now is to get to like 200, 190-ish, and then see from there what happens because I'll have
Right.
loose skin and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy to have you on. We met in LA. We met at the Fourth Wall. I think do we meet there?
That's
I would
right.
imagine
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, and you're a very funny comic. Um, and I just found out you're a writer, but we're gonna pitch that at the end of the or talk about that at the end. But you on stage would talk about being or getting arrested and going to prison. And like at first we like I thought maybe it was a joke, but then like like it was not a joke. You were
No
out
joke.
like you were in prison for like
Yeah.
legit like not like DUI like white collar prison. You were in like
Yeah.
legit prison.
I was in maximum security, pound me in the ass prison, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you get arrested for?
Selling drugs.
And like weed or anything higher more?
Weed. Yeah. It was because back in the day, as some of you might remember, some of you older listeners,
Right.
weed was a drug.
Oh, okay. So
You know,
what year did you get arrested?
I got arrested and went to prison in 2010, and in
So
Oregon,
right
right
before it
before.
became legal.
Jesus,
I have a
my
similar
fucking
story.
timing.
I mean, it's like the white privilege. Like, I mean, I guess we both have white privilege, but I have like the white privilege uh, example of that. I was with Joey and at the South Point in Las Vegas, like 6 months before we became legal, and a guy who was making, they used to call them the Stars of Death. They were these gummies, and the guy who
I
made them
remember
was
those.
the guy who made them was there, and he poured them into my hand. It was the first time I'd ever had more than 1,000 milligrams, which turned out to be nothing. But it was the first time I had done that, and I literally went to. It was right after Joey's show, and I went to give it to one person, and I looked up, and it was you, but with a security police vest on. And he just looked at me and went, "This is just a gummy," and I ran away, and I ate the rest of them, and they ended up kicking me. I'm banned for life from the South Point. Six, like yeah, they kicked me out. They said they were gonna call the cops on me. It was one of the worst nights of my life. But it was 6 months before we became legal in Vegas, and like they already knew it was becoming legal. So I was like, this is bullshit. But like, how do you feel like that you have like a legit record? You have to spend time in prison, and now it's people like are becoming millionaires off of it
Well,
legally.
first of all, thanks, Lee, for pointing that out. That had slipped my mind, you know.
I know you don't think about it ever. That's okay. So,
Thanks for just pouring some salt and vinegar.
Well, you're doing fine. You're 6'6", 190. You're doing all right.
No, I'm okay with it. Like, what are you gonna do? It's like that was part of the game. Like, we didn't want it to be legal.
Right. Yeah.
We didn't want it to be legal. That was where the money was in the prohibition. So
okay.
I knew the game I was playing. I mean, of course, when I got locked up, I was, woe is me. I was feeling depressed, feeling sorry for myself. But a motherfucker, like a guy who I was locked up with, like he like slapped me. He's like, "This is the game you chose, bitch."
Right.
You got 2 years for something a black dude would still be locked up for.
Oh, okay.
And you got guys around you doing decades and decades in prison, like,
2 years is nothing to them. That's crazy. Okay, so you mentioned something, and it's good. It's good that you brought it up. Like before I got to LA, I had smoked weed a few times, but I never bought it illegally because I was convinced that I would be the guy to go to the undercover cop my first time. Like that's kind of luck I have. I was petrified of it. So like, how did you get into selling weed?
Well, it was just always I'm from Portland, Oregon, so that's always where like the best weed in the country comes from Southern Oregon,
right.
Northern California, Southern Oregon. So it was always like a ubiquitous part of our culture, right? Okay. Like we were like 90s, early 2000s kids. So everybody was a pothead. Everybody was kind of doing that. We looked up to older guys who were actually like making money, like real money selling weed.
Right.
And so I always looked at it as a way to like, I just never wanted to have a job.
Right. Okay.
I guess that's why I'm a comedian now.
Exactly. Yeah. You transfer. So wait. So did you grow up and like I just see you and I imagine Oregon. Like I imagine like a nice area. Like what did you grow up like privileged or did you grow up?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a solidly. I grew up in Portland. I'm not from the suburbs. Like I had like a very diverse. And this is back when Portland had like black people. It wasn't like the hipster Portlandia. Like
right.
It was like a little cooler back then. And it was just a way, initially, it was just a way for us to smoke weed for free. We would buy an ounce from a friend's older brother and we would bag it out into little dime sacks and just, sell it off to our friends. And we never made any money. We didn't know what we were doing.
But you paid off your weed you wanted to smoke.
Right, exactly.
And how old were you then?
16.
Okay, 16
years old. And
what year was that?
2002.
Okay, so you had 8 years in it then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then how does it? So when do you start being like, okay, I can make some real money on this?
When we got to college, I went to U of O, University of Oregon.
Okay.
Ducks, go Ducks.
Go Ducks.
And I just saw the market potential for it. I think I met a guy who told me he made $40,000 a year selling weed, and to me that was like,
as a college kid, you're like, whoa.
It was like meeting Elon Musk. I'm like, oh my god, like so you're just filthy rich, like
right?
$40,000 a year,
no taxes too.
Right, exactly. That's like a low level headliner's salary.
I know. It probably better, to be honest.
It's probably better now, exactly. So I was like, oh my fucking God. I would get so jealous. Like I would get so envious when I would hear of these guys who all they had to do was buy and sell drugs,
Right. And it didn't even seem like, did it seem scary or was it like, you're just doing it to, like, it's not like you were out on the street corner, like you were doing it to like friends and like, just
It didn't seem scary really until I found myself on the freeway with 20 pounds in my trunk, passing state troopers. That's when I was like, oh, this shit's real.
Oh my God. I can't imagine. My asshole just puckered up thinking about that. Okay. Right. So that's what I wanted to ask you, because like with like me thinking I'm going to get a undercover cop to come after me. Like, were you nervous about the cops at all times, or did you have like the young, like no one's ever going to catch me attitude?
Yeah, I had the no one's ever going to catch me attitude because I always figured I'm like, they want like the big fish,
Right.
They're like, how am I going to get caught? Like they're going after, cartels and, big time criminals. I'm just a college kid. So that's kind of
Right.
how I rationalized it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And
Okay. So how
yeah,
did you end up? How did you go from there having 20 pounds in your trunk? That seems like a step up.
it's a jump. We came up for sure.
Oh my god.
So we met a grower in Southern Oregon, because the hardest part about coming up at selling any kind of drug is getting wholesale quantity at the best price.
Okay.
Right. And so we knew if we could meet the connect, that's what we called the guys back then, the connect,
Right.
then we could become the dealer's dealer. We would get to buy at the best price, and then we would be able to, create a network of dealers, right? Like we were the
Okay.
wholesaler.
Like Breaking Bad level.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So we met, so we would go down to Southern Oregon, way up into the mountains, like, bro, this was on like some Deliverance shit,
Oh no.
like some backwater. Yeah, like I'm like, dude, these guys could just take us anally right now. If they're no one would hear us scream. Like,
and how do you meet them? It's not like they have like a Craigslist. Like if you're looking to like wholesale weed, contact this number. Like how do you even find that
yeah,
guy?
I couldn't do it. Yeah, so it was just luck. You just had to know the right people, and there's no way. It was just we met them through a friend of a friend who went to school with us, and we had to pay this kid $10,000 just for the introduction.
Damn.
That's how valuable he knew that.
That's the business to be in. The
exactly,
weed dealer introduction. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember the Wire? They had to pay Marlowe $10 million to meet the fucking Greeks, to meet the Connect at the end of the show.
Jesus. So wait. So did you have to pay before you even like had a deal?
We gave him $5,000 to take us down there, and $5,000 after we cemented the deal.
So like
there was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, that is a lot of money, but like I just feel like that's something I would think of in the movies, like only give them half up front, like, but like that's real life, like stuff like that does happen.
It's real shit, dude. Yeah, it's fucking crazy how deep it gets.
And like, were you nervous? Like, at any point, do you like maybe I should just stick with like regular weed and like not, or is it like you always like, was Dave Chappelle or was it no it was Cat Williams who had the joke about like if you're still selling weed, like you always have to improve or something.
Right.
So
yeah. If you ain't selling
coke, like if you're still selling weed, I don't want to, invite to my birthday party or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I think that's a myth. That's a myth, because the weed guys, the big time weed guys, were making more money than most coke dealers.
Wow.
Like I was making, at the end, I was making almost $1 million a year.
What?
So, it's so the only guys making money like that selling coke are, guys doing multi-kilo deals, and there's not that many guys like that, right? And you have to be connected to a cartel usually. But for me, I'm just a dude. That's what was the beauty of marijuana prohibition.
Was it just you, like a one person?
It was me and my best friend from Portland.
And you were each making $1 million a year?
No, by the end he had already retired, and like he had gotten a straight job. He'd gone square. You know what I mean? What I should have done.
Oh, he sold early. Okay.
Yeah, he sold early. Right. And so I basically bought him out because I knew how much money I was about to make. So I was like, I kind of lowballed him. I'm like, I was like, you're better off. You got a girlfriend now. You got a house. Let me just take it over from here.
So wait, so you're, if my math is right, you're like your early 20s, like 21, 22, making $1 million.
Yeah. When we really started making significant money, like making a living off of it to where we didn't have to work. Yeah, I was about 22. Yeah.
And did you pretend you had a job, or did you just tell your parents you hit it rich, or like, how did you like justify like I don't work?
Mom, Dad, have you heard of crypto?
Oh, really? No. I was gonna say like you were the first Bitcoin millionaire.
Yeah, dude. But can you imagine if I had bought Bitcoin back then?
Oh, I know.
When Bitcoin it was like started to come out. Was the
year I know. I wish I bought $1,000. Imagine if you bought like $100,000 worth of Bitcoin.
Oh my god.
Okay, so wait, so you.
But no, I would just pretend. I would tell them, that I was doing this and that. But
okay,
they knew.
So you met the guy. So it sounds like you did become like you had dealers under you now.
Oh yeah. So we would buy, like when we were in college before I got like rich off of it. If we bought 10 pounds, we would have 2, maybe 3 guys who would buy multi-pounds from us at a time, and they would then break it down, further, give it to
Wow,
their
so you weren't
dealer.
even the middleman. You were like the supplier at that point, pretty
Well,
much.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I still am the middleman because the supplier is the weed grower, right?
Right,
But
right,
I
right,
was
right.
basically the dude. Yeah, I was
Do you
basically.
think about getting into growing, or you were like, no, I don't want to have to deal with that?
I thought about it, but I'm like, dude, growing weed is like it's farming. You
Right,
know, it
right,
takes a shitload of work. Like, unless you have so much money where you can just pay teams of guys to look after for you, like those weed growers in Southern Oregon live like bumpkins. They live up in the mountains. They have to
right.
tend their crops 7 months a year, 8 months a year. And
That's a
look,
lot of
they
work.
have
Yeah.
millions of dollars, but it's a very hippie, brutal, weird lifestyle. So I
Right.
was never really interested in it. No.
Okay. So, like, I always laugh. I see people on Facebook, and they're like, "Does anybody have trees?" And they think like cops don't like understand what that like. Were you at all nervous about like letting people know what you did, and like how to like do you have like burner cell phones? Like I can't imagine texting a drug dealer about like that seems like sort of risky.
Well, first of all, Lee, what are you still doing on Facebook?
I know.
Hey,
I don't even post. I see it, but yeah,
old
that's true.
man.
Good point.
And B, yeah, I mean, of course we had burner phones. When I
Okay.
got arrested, the cops there, I have a picture like from all the evidence they collected. There's 2 gigantic Ziploc bags filled with cell phones.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So those prepaid cell phones you would buy at like CVS, like you would just get a whole bunch of those.
Yeah. I would buy it. I would use it once and I would get rid of it.
Wow. One
Yeah.
time.
By the end, I was very paranoid. I was very paranoid about wiretaps and all that shit. You know what I mean? And
Oh
really,
yeah.
obviously, they could still get you,
Right.
even if they don't get you on a wiretap. They
Right.
got a million other ways they could get you. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, but I was like, there's no excuse for getting your phone tapped in this day and age when there's so many other ways to circumvent that.
Oh, and you can't even. I've yeah, like, how much money do you think you? Because like like when Narcos came out, they said like Pablo Escobar was spending 2,500 a month on rubber bands. Like, how much were you spending on phones? Do you think
Right, right. Damn, that's a good question. How much is a burner phone? Maybe
like
like
$50 or something?
no, it was way cheaper, dude. It was like 20
Oh,
bucks. It was like
oh,
20 bucks.
wow, is that cheap?
Yeah, it would just be the flip or just the basic, like, you
Nokia
know,
brick thing or something? Yeah.
exactly, just a piece of plastic, a tiny phone. I mean, I was maybe spending, I don't know, maybe 300 bucks a month on phones, 400 bucks
Wow.
a month on phones.
And like,
Yeah.
how many people did you have in your like? How many people really knew you and like could like get you in trouble?
By the end, not many because I only had at the end, I was moving 20 pounds of pot a week, all on the East Coast though. I would take it, I would buy it from the growers in Southern Oregon. I would bring it to Portland. I would package it and I would ship it off. So I only had 2 guys that were working for me, buying 10 pounds each, maybe 3 sometimes. One guy would fall off or whatever. But by the end, it was so secretive um, that when I got caught, everyone was like, "God damn,
Right. Oh
Mitchell was
wow.
kingpin in it."
Jesus Christ. So wait. So why did you ship? Was it just like there's too much weed on the West Coast? Like it's a lot
Exactly.
more valuable on the East Coast.
Exactly. By the end, by 2010, weed was so flooded in Portland, it was just made more sense. Like I could make $1,000 profit per pound for what I could in Oregon, what I could on the East Coast for what I could make for $200 in Oregon. You know
Oh
what I mean?
damn. Okay.
So,
How would you package it? Like I've heard peanut butter is good. Like, how do you hide the smell of weed?
well, the dogs will sniff peanut butter. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
okay.
The dogs
Yeah.
even
I
at
guess that's.
lunch will
Oh, that's
sniff peanut
true.
butter. You know. So
Okay.
no, it's you package it, you vacuum seal it. So I had a
Oh,
whole process.
and like, do you put anything else in? Do you like put sweatshirts in to try to hide it, or you just hope they don't open the package?
No, none of you. Yeah, yeah. You definitely obfuscate it with bubble wrap and with clothing and maybe other things to make the weight of the box feel even.
Okay, wow.
And sometimes I would rent these like these mobile storage pods. Like if you're moving from say LA to Florida, you can rent a pod, right? And it's you've seen those things, right? And then so I would fill it with a bunch of old furniture, and then I would also hide the drugs in there. And then it would ship. Yeah, and so in 5 days, it's going to land in New Jersey, and the pod would just pull up outside of the location where the drop was going to be, and then the guys would go in, open it up, and find the shit.
How nerve-wracking is it? Because like honestly, I have a bunch of my questions are just about nerves. For those 5 days or however long it takes to get a package there, are you like? Because I would imagine it's a big investment. Like how much would how much would you have invested in like a shipment?
Like 20 pounds of weed, I would have 45 grand up in the air. So yeah, it was angst filled for sure.
And how many did it ever not get there?
A few times.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so you just boom, you're out 40 grand, 40 large right there.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. Okay. It's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
Feeling at that level is almost not worth it because it's the stress just kills you. It's like being a CEO of a company, it's like.
Yeah, a CEO that's cooking the books is like because you also have to worry about like the police. So like that's what I'm interested in. Like at what point did they like how did they catch you, and like did you know you were being was it like Goodfellas where you saw the helicopter, or like was it a complete surprise?
It was I definitely felt the walls closing in,
Oh damn.
But it came as a surprise. So basically, there was a package of money that was being shipped back to me from the East Coast.
Okay.
Somebody had, and these guys that I was dealing with over there, they weren't the sharpest Italians. You know what I mean? No offense to all the WAPs listening. I love you. You people are animals. So they would always send me the money in packages, like they're sending me like $50,000-$60,000 in a FedEx package. But I remember it would just like reek of weed. Like I would get this huge stack of money, and I would tell the guys. So clearly they were like smoking blunts as they were like wrapping the weed or wrapping my money up.
Right.
And so I used to tell the guys, I'm like, you got to wrap my money like I wrap your dope. You got to vacuum seal it. And they just didn't listen to me. And so what happened was there was a package, FedEx package, was going through like a sorting facility, and it just got picked up by a dog. Smelled the money.
And then they open it and there's a bunch of money in there.
What's that?
So then they open it and then there's a bunch of money. They're like, yeah, this is not good.
They know exactly what it is. I mean, this kind of stuff happens all the time. So they put a tracking device in the FedEx money package, and that led them to me.
All right, 2 questions. A, why couldn't they just like get like a cashier's check? Why did they have to send actual money? That's one.
Because that's a good point. I mean, look, that's I don't know, because I didn't want anything electronic. I didn't want anything to be traced electronically. I mean, I know people do that, but it's also difficult for them. I can't really ask them to take $40,000 in cash,
right?
And go, because you can only get $500 cashier's checks at a time.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
That's a good reason.
So
okay.
I couldn't really tell them to go, hey, go get me thousands of money orders at 7-Eleven. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would okay. So there's that, and then B, did you put like your own address to get the money, or like where was that being shipped to?
No, I was always using different addresses and different safe houses and things like that. But they staked me out, like they spent some time figuring out who it was.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so you were making a bunch of. You brought up how much money you were making. Were you able to? Like, did you save any of it? Yeah, I was trying to think about like a politically correct way to say, like, do you still have some, or did like they take it all, or like how does that work?
Put it this way, Lee. I'm taking road gigs for $100. Taking one-nighters for $150.
Right.
So that money is long gone by now. They didn't find all of it, but that was a decade ago. So
right.
After I paid my lawyer well. When I was in prison, I had to pay for commissary and extortion money. Kidding.
Oh.
And then obviously I got out. I moved to LA, so I used the rest of my money they didn't find to kind of like bankroll, my dream.
Wow. That's crazy.
So yeah, man. It's unfortunately they got most of the loot.
Damn. Okay. So they finally arrest you. Do you like obviously like what it's for? Like, did they come with like the FBI or was it like a couple cops? Like when they finally arrested you, what was that like?
It was the Portland like Vice Squad, but they had some DEA agents in there, and that is as scary as it gets, dude. When you see the bald white guys with the fucking shiny boots and the fucking Carhartt jackets, you're like, oh, I'm never getting out of prison.
did they get like at 6? Did they like knock down the door at 6 a.m? How did they do that?
No, they actually picked me up as I was leaving one of the drop locations where with the package of money in my hand.
No.
Yeah, and so they were trying to get me to basically tell on myself. They didn't know where I lived and initially, and this is the fascinating part. It was the iPhone. The iPhone had just come out, and they were able to plug in a special police device to figure out where this iPhone had been. And
Apple snitched on you?
What's that?
Apple snitched on you?
Apple fucking ratted. Steve Jobs, you fuck.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm throwing this away. Yeah, I'm throwing mine away now.
Exactly, bro. That's real shit. So that's how and then they got a warrant to go search the address, and they found a couple $100,000 in cash. Wow. They didn't find any product. They did not find any weed. Actually.
Very smart.
They found tons of like empty paraphernalia and shit. But they actually did not find any weed. So my charge was actually money laundering. It was not and conspiracy, but it was not any drugs. So I can at least say that they didn't catch me fully, with my pants down.
Damn. Okay. So, like, did you go through a trial? Was it like a plea deal? What was that process?
Yeah,
like?
I took a plea deal. I maybe could have fought it a little harder, but it would have cost me more money. And my lawyer was like, "Look, you're not facing any more than like 3 years. And with good time and like these diversion programs they have, you could be out in less than 2. But I'm just worried that if you go in guns blazing and we lose, they're going to fucking throw the book at you, which is what they do." So,
right.
Yeah, I took a plea deal.
Was it your first offense?
No, that's the other thing. So he was like, "I'm also worried," because about a year earlier, they had actually raided my house.
Damn.
They had actually raided my house. This was about a year and a half before I got arrested the second time that sent me to prison. That time they did raid the house. I was coming back from golfing with my grandfather. I was coming back from doing the whitest shit.
Yeah.
Aside from croquet that you could think of.
Did you have like a pink shirt on and khakis?
I had a Lacoste shirt and one of those Scottish golfing hats.
Oh my God.
So I dropped my grandfather off at my parents' house. He was visiting from out of town. I went back up to the house where I was living, and we were selling weed out of it. And I turned the corner and I see fucking unmarked vans with the police lights, coordinate that, kind of had the street blocked off.
Right. Oh, wow.
I see my roommates, my best friends to this day, who had nothing to do with selling drugs.
Oh, no.
Led up the stairs in handcuffs. I was like, whoops. Sorry, boys.
Yeah, and then you leave.
Better you than me. And so I fucking skirted out. I hit reverse, but they saw me. And so we had a little chase, but I gave up.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, but I did not go to prison that time because they found 5 pounds of weed and a couple thousand in cash. So I got a felony, and they were like, "Look, you can rat. You won't even have a felony. You can get your shit expunged." But I was like, "I can't tell on anybody, boys. I'm sorry, I can't help you."
Wow, I would see. That's why I don't do it, because I would have. I would have told everybody.
Yeah.
I would have told on the guy who like didn't pay a toll. Like I would have
Right.
told on everybody. Okay.
I know, man. Most people will, dude. It's a survival, man. It's human nature.
I'd like to think I don't want to be a rat, but I mean I don't like prison. I would not do well in prison. So okay, but you didn't. You said you didn't go to jail for that one.
But I was on probation and I had a felony, and it was like I knew if I got caught again, I was gone. So
and nope, and obviously you didn't stop. But did any part of you be like, maybe I should stop now? It's okay. You were making a lot of money. If the answer is no, it's no.
Part of me thought yes, I should, but the greater part of me was like, dude, you're making way too much money. Quit now, dude.
Oh, damn.
And,
okay.
and I just met these guys on the East Coast, so I knew I was about to blow up. I knew I was about to.
you just got your Comedy Central special. You just got it. You're like, I'm not quitting now.
I can't quit now, dude.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So yeah. So fast forward a year, I got arrested again, and so my lawyer is like, look, with these circumstances, you got to go do some time. I can't help you.
Right. You're doing
like
something.
The lawyer in Scarface. He was like, Johnny, baby, it's kind of hard when you got 400,000 unmarked bills. It's kind of hard to convince a jury you found it in a taxi cab.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. So and it smells like weed.
Yeah.
So what was it like talking to your parents and like your friends? Was it awful?
You mean when I was in prison?
Like when they found out, when just the first time when you're like, hey, I got arrested.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like calling your mom, when you're drunk at a party, or you need some money. You're like, hey, mom.
How you doing? I'm good.
Everything's okay. So yeah, but it's funny. It's the first person you always call is your mother.
Oh, I know. I can't imagine.
The first instinct, or your parents, like your first instinct is to go back to like your original protectors.
Right.
But they were devastated, obviously, right? It was terrible. It was terrible. And they would come visit me, and my friends would come visit me, and by the end, I'm like, just wait till I get out.
Right.
You can't take the emotions and it's like, what do you want me to talk about? I'm in here, I'm lifting weights, and I'm trying not to get shanked in the throat.
Jesus. So okay. So yeah. So where did you go to prison in Oregon?
Yeah.
Okay. That's something I think, like I just saw yesterday, that there's some American guys like stabbed a cop in Italy or something, and they want to give him life in prison in Italy. And I was like, I can't imagine going to prison somewhere where you didn't live. So,
oh my God, or a language you don't speak?
Yeah. So at least you had that. At least you were close. But I mean, well, obviously, I don't think it was Shawshank Redemption. Like, here's the fish. But like, what is like the first day in prison like?
Well, when you go to county jail, first of all, you got to back up.
Oh, I'm skipping ahead. Okay.
Prison is vacation compared to the county jail.
Really?
I got to prison and I'm like, oh, this is so nice.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh my God, look at the accoutrement. High ceilings.
So what's different?
3 meals a day?
They don't feed you in the county jail?
The county jail, you starve to death. You get in fights immediately. Like you walk in and you just see like a couple of gangbangers like beating the shit out of a dude. You're like, oh my God. And it's the hardest time because everybody is like fresh off the streets. There's junkies everywhere. People are so uncertain. They're facing so much time. So that like the stress level is like, it's debilitating,
So did you go there while you were waiting to decide about the plea deal? Like,
yeah, because I didn't have a bail.
Oh no.
I couldn't even bail out, dude.
You're like, what do I got? I have money. I can pay some bail. You got no bail.
I got Jeffrey Epstein, dude. Judge was like, no bail.
Oh no.
Yeah. So yeah, I have to spend as much time as it takes to finish my case out, to get it adjudicated.
And that's not quick. The court cases move slowly.
Even in Oregon, man, when you got money, the court cases, the wheels of justice turn slow, So I was in there for almost 6 months in 24-hour a day lockup. You know what I mean?
By yourself, or did you have a cellmate?
No, I mean, at the beginning it was by myself, but then you share a dorm with a bunch of people, which is actually better. At first I was like, oh, I just want to be alone. But then you're so fucking lonely I was like, I'd rather go to the yard and fight because at least I get to be around some people. You know what I mean?
Oh, I've thought about. I mean, knock on wood, I'll never go to jail. But I've thought about like I was like I'm punch a guard in the face just because I want to get solitary.
Yeah, well, I did that one time. I got in a fight with a guy just so I could go be alone in solitary for a week.
Jesus, so the dorm was better. Like, how many fights did you get in?
I got in 2 fights in the county jail and 1 in prison.
And did you win?
No, 2 were a draw. 1 certainly did not win.
Are you like what sort of injuries did you get?
Well, just they're like schoolyard fights. Like,
so you didn't get stabbed.
I didn't get stabbed. No,
thank God.
No.
Okay.
Stabbings happen when like it's usually like over some gang shit or like some vendetta shit or some drug shit.
Okay.
In prison, it's actually very democratic, the fighting. Like, people don't just believe in just random assault. It's like you almost plan it like it's the schoolyard. Like, meet me after school at 3 p.m. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay.
Because if you walk up to a guy and just start beating his ass in front of the guards, you're just kind of doing it. You know you're going to get caught. Like, the real respect comes when it's like, no, we're going to go where the cameras can't see us. You know what I mean? And we're going to get the ones.
Gee, oh, no, yeah. Oh.
So yeah, so that takes real balls. So that's what people respect, you know?
Okay. So wait, okay. So you spent 6 months in there, and you brought up gangs. I thought about asking, but I thought it was like too much of like a normal prison movie question to ask, but I guess I should ask. Did you have to join a gang?
No, I didn't because the gang banging in Oregon prisons isn't as rampant, but also I was a basketball player. And I talk about this in my act. I was a really good basketball player. So like that was my thing. Like, I didn't have to go gangbang because I had like a thing, you know?
You're like, I'll be on your team and I'll score some points.
Yeah, damn. Yeah. The joke was like the black guys protected me from getting raped. They were like, no, you don't touch him. We need him healthy for the playoffs. You know?
Well, that's on like because I'm Jewish, so I would have thought like you would have joined maybe like the Aryan Brotherhood, pretended you were a Nazi or something, but like I can't even do that. So I had no idea where I'd do it. Like in prison, I couldn't join a gang. Oh my God!
No, you couldn't. I mean, what you'd I don't know if there are any Jewish.
No, we're called the accountants. So how long did it take for you to like get a good night's sleep in prison or jail, either one?
Dude, I would sleep so soundly.
No,
you have no idea how soundly. Yes, because that's your escape. Your only escape is sleep.
Yeah, but like, how do you like sleep well, thinking like this guy might come up and steal my shit or beat me up or?
I don't know, dude. You just do it because, well, first of all, in prison you have your own cell.
Okay, so you were by yourself in prison.
Yeah, I had a cellmate. I had a roommate for a while.
I would not like that.
No, I didn't love it. And when he got shipped out and I had my own cell for like 3 months, I was like, oh, this is so great.
Right.
This is so great. I could fucking read and jerk off whenever I wanted to. I didn't have a guy looking at me while I took a shit. You know?
Okay. Wait. Jesus. So I always, because this is what I legit what I think about. I'm like, I wouldn't do well with a roommate because I snore.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, and I at sleepovers, people would get mad at me. I can't imagine in prison they'd be, "Excuse me, you're snoring." Like I would imagine they might be a little bit upset at you.
Imagine if you wet the bed too. How embarrassing!
I did that as a kid. Luckily, I haven't done that in years. But oh my God! So like,
yeah.
Did you have a rule about like did anybody
No, I mean,
snore?
I used to snore, and my roommate would be like, he would start banging on the bed and shit.
Oh, but you still got good sleep.
Yeah, I still got good sleep because it's like the worst part was waking up. The most torturous part was waking up from a beautiful dream to realize you're in jail. Like, it's so surreal. It's such a nightmare. You wake up and you're like, oh no, this is reality. You don't believe it at first. You can't even believe you're in the system. So sleep was the escape. Sleep was like look, the more I sleep, the faster the sentence goes by. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Oh my God. So, and this is skipping ahead a little bit, but since you just brought it up, do you ever have, because I have dreams like I didn't pass college. Do you ever have dreams like that you're back in jail or something? You still have 6 months or
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do? Oh,
I do.
Jesus. Those are,
I do. The
oh,
worst was like when I was actually in prison, I would have nightmares that I was getting rearrested for like some shit that they didn't catch me for.
oh
I would
no.
wake up out of my sleep just drenched in sweat. I'd be like, oh, thank God I'm in here.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah, thank God the clock's already going. So that's actually a question. Like, so did you get sentenced to 2 years? How long did you get sentenced to?
I got sentenced to 33 months and I did
Okay.
about 19 months.
Okay. So like, how do you keep track of when you might be getting released? Do they give you when you get there? Do they like, you're getting out on March 6th
So
of?
you have a max date. You have what's called a minimum date and a max date. The max date is if you keep fucking up and you're getting in trouble and you don't get good time. The max date is the maximum amount of time that you can be in there.
Okay.
So and then your earliest release date that you got is that's your date. Like you got a date. That's how you know it, and you're never gonna forget that date.
So they actually do tell you because I would be like because they do all this math with good time and like I've heard of like in county jail they give you 2 days for 1 day, so it's like it's a lot of math to keep track of.
Right.
And like you don't
Right.
know exactly. Did you get in trouble? Did they give you like an extra week for like something or?
I did not get in trouble when I was in there. No.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Well, and
I lucked out.
I don't know if you've seen, but on like Instagram and TikTok now, like people in jail have cell phones. Did you
Dude.
see that or
Yeah, they're
like?
going viral on TikTok.
I know, like that seems kind of stupid. Like I would imagine the jail sees that and then it's like you have a cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, but how think about how you're getting those phones in.
Yeah, it must be up a crevice of some sort. I would
No, you
imagine.
can't fit that. I don't care how gay you are. You're not fitting that into your asshole.
Oh, that's true.
The
Okay,
guards are fucking bringing them in. So
really?
of course they are, and especially in places like the South where correctional officers make like 18,000 a year, they're all on the take.
Did,
You know
oh,
what I'm
did
saying?
did you meet anybody like that? Did you meet any like a guard who was like, "Hey, if you want some food or a phone, I can
Nope.
get."
No, I didn't meet them, but I saw cell phones. I saw meth. I smoked weed all the time. Um, you know what I mean? Like
Really?
I saw shanks like that you would have to buy at Home Depot, like not just made from like something from the kitchen. That's all
Guards
in the
would bring in
carts.
like knives, like X-Acto knives or something. Like they bring in
Exacto
like.
knives. Yes, somebody got buck 50'd across the face. We call it a buck 50 with an Exacto knife.
Why do you call it a $1.50?
I don't know exactly.
Okay,
It
I
originated.
didn't know if it was like 150 stitches or something. Like,
It originated in Rikers Island,
oh
and
my
that
God.
that was like the slashing. That was like the Dominican thing. Like you get slashed across the face, the Dominican Puerto Rican thing, and so that's kind of what they call getting slashed across the face now is a buck 50.
Oh my. Okay. Oof. So
It's
you
okay,
meant.
buddy. Okay.
Yeah, I know, I'm having a nightmare. I'm gonna have nightmares thinking about this. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna say like weed's legal in Florida and Massachusetts, and I'm gonna stop.
You're like, can I get in trouble for talking about
Yeah,
this?
yeah. The views of the guests do not represent the views of the What Was I Thinking podcast. Um, so you mentioned the commissary. Like, A, how was the regular food, and B, like, what were like. Well, answer that first, because then I have a commissary story I want to tell you. How was like
Right.
the regular food?
Okay. So regular food was not great. The county jail food was like gruel. It was
Ooh.
like inedible. The prison food better, but still redundant and just filled with starch and fucking packed with preservatives.
Ooh. Oh,
And yeah,
I'd be okay. I like starch and preservatives.
right. That's true.
So,
You'd have
so
an
like,
excuse at least. There's no
yeah,
vegan diet in there, you know?
no. So we on the podcast with Joey, we had a comic named Ali Sadiq come on,
Yeah,
and
Ali Sadiq. Yeah, funny dude.
he was in prison, and he mentioned he had a commissary meal that was honey buns with peanut butter and nutter butters on top. It
Yeah,
just
yeah,
sounds
yeah.
amazing. Like, did you have any like commissary meals or things that you like still like, or were your
So
favorite?
there was a spread. We called it like making a spread, and you would
Right.
actually like I would give dudes like cup of noodles to make it for me and shit, like as
Okay.
payment or whatever, and or I would give them like sticks with weed sticks, and they would crush up. I can't remember exactly what it was. They would crush up like tons of cup of noodles, right, or ramen,
Right.
uh, crushed up Doritos, put like I think mayo packets in there or
Oh.
something,
Okay.
um, and then put like tons of like the spices and shit. They would put it in a plastic bag, twist the bag up, let it ferment in there, and then they would spread it over bread, and it was fucking delicious.
Oh, holy. Okay. Is there anything that you would make in there that you still like every once in a while? You're like, maybe I should have a fucking a honey bun sandwich, or
Fuck no.
no, like you stopped. Okay.
Fuck no. I couldn't
Oh,
eat. I couldn't eat shepherd's pie for about 8 years after I got out of prison.
oh, is that like a every Monday shepherd's pie
Oh,
Monday or
it's
something?
disgusting, dude. What an awful Irish fucking meal, dude.
Yeah. Oh,
Those Irish
I can't
monsters.
imagine they're using Wagyu beef. It's probably like about
Yeah,
to go bad.
totally. Well, that
Oh,
all that beef they get, it's the worst, lowest kind of beef. Like that's the same shit they have at hospitals and old folks' homes. Yeah, it's just foul, dude.
oh. Okay. Yeah. No, no, I wouldn't. So you mentioned that you were in there working out. Like, did you, with like the lack of like a lot of food and like not a lot of things to do, did you come out like ripped and like
Yeah, I was ripped at the end, and I was drinking like protein like a motherfucker, and eating so much peanut butter. And yeah, no, I came out looking good. I want my prison body back. I'm thinking about going back. I think about going back just to get me on a routine again.
a prison bot? And like, did you did you get a job? Like, what did you spend your days doing, or was it all working out?
No, no. I mean, we played a lot of basketball. We worked out, but yeah, I had a job for a little while in the kitchen. And then, but that was so brutal that I was like, no, I quit.
Really? Why? What was brutal about it? Like too early in the morning, or like?
No, because it was like slave labor. You know what I mean?
Right, like they pay you like what, pennies an hour or
It was
something?
like $1 a day, dude.
That's crazy.
I'm like hanging out with these guys from Honduras. They're like, yeah, we could have just stayed in Honduras. We'd be making the same. We'd be making more.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay. So like at a certain point, didn't like I'm sure you never enjoyed it, but like at a certain point where you like did you stop being nervous about getting in like in fights, and like were you just sort of like
Yeah,
accepting where you were?
definitely, definitely. Yeah, and I did feel relaxed, and you know, I didn't enjoy it, but my parents were like, "How you holding up in there?" I'm like, "I could do another 2 years of this."
Oh God.
You know,
Yeah,
like because I'd be kicked up, I'd be reading all these great, novels that I never had time to read, and
right.
I was working on my screenplays, you know, and
Oh,
I'm like, this is just kind of nice.
I got a lot of free time. When I get
Yeah,
out of here, I'm gonna have to get a job and do some stuff.
totally.
Okay.
I was so worried about what my life was going to be on the outside that I was like, I should just enjoy this time, you know?
Wow. So you mentioned it earlier, and you just mentioned being comfortable. Like I can't imagine having like a sexual urge. Like like did you jerk off a lot in prison?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we called it getting money. We called it getting money in
Why
prison.
did you
Yeah.
call
No,
it getting money? What
we
like
call it getting money because it's just the best thing. It was the best thing to get money
oh
besides
my,
getting money is jerking off.
and like wouldn't you be afraid of like someone seeing you do it, or is it just
Yeah, yeah, no,
normal?
a prison guard, this like old Persian woman who was a prison guard. She caught me jerking off.
Really?
Yeah, and she just kind of smiled.
Really? And isn't it not allowed or something? Don't you get in trouble for it?
You got no. They actually have rules in the rule book about how you're supposed to jerk off. You have to be under a blanket facing the wall. But like, I'm not jerking off with a fucking a Bob Barker fucking blanket, a prison starchy, frizzy prison blanket over my shit. I need to be free. I need that shotgun motion.
Oh,
I need oxygen. Dude, you know,
the shotgun mode. Oh my God. Okay, so where would you do it?
in my cell. But
Okay.
dude, we the last 6 months of my stretch, I was in a minimum security prison where there were no cells, just bunk beds.
Okay.
And the bathrooms, they were like army barracks. The bathrooms had see-through glass, so you could actually see into the bathrooms.
Oh no.
So where are you supposed to jerk off?
Yeah.
So you would have to take advantage of it wherever you could get it. So we would be out like cleaning up the state parks, right? And I would just duck behind a tree and just. That's why we called it getting money. Because we were like, oh, where's Mitchell? He's somewhere getting money.
Oh my! Behind a tree.
I jerked off in a sand dune, on the Oregon coast. Like,
really? That sounds kind of nice.
It was kind of nice.
And like, did they have porn magazines for you or no? All memory.
No, they've like banned dirty magazines from the prison systems. It's fucking terrible.
That doesn't even really, I feel like it would calm people down.
It would. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's so fucking retarded. Like the punitive measures that the prisons do to people. It's just like they should have commissary or conjugal visits,
Or like fleshlights. Like imagine like you could buy like give every prisoner a fleshlight.
Right. You get 6 months of good behavior. Everybody gets a fleshlight.
Oh Jesus. That's fucked. I'm just mad. Like, yeah, there'd be no riots. Everyone would just be in bed all day.
Yeah, no shit.
Fucking
napping.
Oh God. So, like, at any point during prison, like, did you think about going back to it after, or were like, as soon as you went to prison, you're like, I'm done with this?
I did. At a certain point, up until I actually got shipped off from county jail to prison, I was in my mind. I was like, okay, how can I go back to this? Like I didn't want to give up the lifestyle. I was like, what am I gonna? Like, what am I gonna get a fucking square job and be and make fucking $20 an hour? And I can't. Like, I was so devastated, and I was just thinking about going through my mind every single way that I could do this without getting caught. But eventually I just had to relinquish that. And that's when I was like, oh, I'll go to Hollywood. I just never wanted.
That's when you decided to be a comic. I
decided to be a writer. I wanted to be a writer. I was like, I could be a fucking a screenwriter. I could write comedy, but I didn't think about doing stand-up.
Okay,
that came later. But I was like, I'll go to Hollywood. I'll be a writer and an actor. I just never wanted to do anything normal, Lee.
So yeah, so you didn't like. I don't know, like when I was growing up, I thought at first I wanted to be a veterinarian, but then I didn't like hurting animals. And I thought maybe I'd be like in marketing or something. So like did you like when you were growing up, did like you want to, it sounded like you were saying earlier how you like idolized some of the guys, like you wanted to be a drug dealer for a while.
Yeah, totally. For a long time. That was my career. That was what I wanted. And by the end, I was like, I wanted to take my money and transition into like legitimate businesses,
And did you imagine like doing it forever, or was it just like you're not even thinking about the future, you're just going to enjoy the present?
I imagined doing it until I had $1 million.
Okay, and then
$1 million in my possession, and
then I was like, get out.
I was like, that's the drug dealer's dream, $1 million. And I was like, then I'll go into real estate, I'll invest it here, I'll become a tycoon,
But, like, how realistic, I guess, I made the joke, but how realistic was Breaking Bad? Like, is it sort of like comedy, or like you get the adrenaline, like you make it like in your head, like, yeah, when I get to $1 million, I'll get out, but then you get to $1 million, you're like, maybe I'll get to 2 million.
Totally. No, I know I would have done that. I would have done that. Even when I got to $1 million, I'm like, yeah, but 1.5 sounds so nice.
I could use a boat. That's
yeah.
How did you make any big purchases? Did you like have a house or like?
No, I bought, I would just travel everywhere. That was my thing. I love traveling. So like I would just go to New York City for a week, and I would stay at the fucking Ritz in Midtown Manhattan.
Oh, for 22 years old or something.
What's that?
Like what? Like 21, 22 years old?
Yes, like 23 years old. I would be in Manhattan walking around with like 30,000 in my pocket, spending thousands a day, crazy dinners. I would buy like party buses for my friends out there, and we would go to clubs, and I'd be buying bottles. And it was just like, I went to South America. You know, lived on, you know, I would stay in like luxury condos in Colombia, you know what I mean?
And pay all in cash, or like, because you
Pay
can't.
all in cash, fuck hookers, you know, all
Jesus,
that shit.
not, can you, you should like do like a webinar for like how to get into the drug game, because like that part sounds great.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that.
no. When it's good, it's fun.
Oh my
There's some
God,
upsides to it for sure.
Jesus Christ. So do you regret that this happened, or like do you see it as like part of the journey at this point?
I got to see it as part of the journey, man, because like if I regret not starting stand up earlier, you know,
Right.
I do regret. I'm like, God damn, I'm 7 years in, if I had started at 22, I'd only be 29 now. Like I'd be working, you
Right.
know, like by my age now, I'd be 12 years into the game. I'd be a professional, but I don't know. I got to see it as part of the journey, because I don't know what I wouldn't have had the same drive. I wouldn't have had the same kind of that spirit that makes me different, you know, in comedy, right? Like that
Right.
kind of.
And now you have a lot of stories too. You got
And I
a
got
lot of
stories now
material.
too. Exactly, I got
Jesus.
material.
So the last like jail question, I guess, is like, what was it like leaving? Like how, like, was it better than, was it like the best day of your life when you got out and like we're done, and or like was it just sort of like a normal, like scary, like a regular day?
Well, you've seen Shawshank Redemption.
Right. Yes. Well, I'm imagining you didn't have to get out to a tube filled with shit.
Sometime I was thinking of Morgan Freeman.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I think about going back.
Really? Oh, wow.
No, I was I was so motivated by then to get to LA, to get out of Oregon, that I was focused. Like I hit the ground running. You know what I mean?
Okay. Were you on probation again, or could you leave right away?
No, I was on probation. So I had to go like check in. You know, I had to get a fucking some bullshit job, but I was just saving up and I was staying clean and I wasn't smoking or drinking or doing any of that. And I got out December 2011, and by July 2012, I packed up and fucking hit I-5 South until I was in LA. And a decade later, here I am.
And how long were you on probation for?
Technically 3 years, but I just left the state. I didn't tell anybody, and I never got in trouble. And
Oh,
I never got in more trouble. Yeah.
Did you like check in on the phone like, hey, I'm doing great, and they never came to like?
Yeah, they never. After a certain point, they don't make you check in if you're a nonviolent criminal. They're like, okay, you could just don't get in any more trouble, and you know you'll be fine. So,
okay, that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, and like, did it take you a while to like reacclimate, like Shawshank Redemption style, like to regular life?
Definitely. I was. I got a job at Nobu in Malibu. Yeah, but
which is like a very fancy sushi place. What were you doing at Nobu?
Very fancy sushi place. I don't know. It's just they were hiring, so I just
like what kind of job did you have?
I was a busboy.
Okay.
So I was working with all like the grunt Mexican labor, you know?
Right.
And if I was still so like wound up from prison that if like a boss told me what to do, I'd be like, I'll kill you. I'll literally throw you over this balcony. I told a guy, he wasn't even like the manager. He was just the head waiter.
Right.
Super nice guy named Ben. He was like, hey man, don't hold your tray like that. And I think he didn't say please. So I told him, I'm like, dude, I'll throw you over this balcony into the ocean right now. So I would just say shit like that. I was like, this is pre-Me Too. I was just harassing every single good-looking waitress. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
right. I didn't even think.
So I was an animal. I was an animal for about 2 years after I got out.
So back up a little bit. How long did it take you from the time you got out of prison to you got laid? Like how quickly?
My friends bought me a hooker the day I got out.
What? Those are good friends.
Good fucking friends.
Are those the friends who got arrested for you by accident?
Yes. Wow. Good friends. Although she was an $80 hooker, so not great friends. Good friends though.
Okay, yeah. $80 seems a little bit.
She took the bus. She took the bus over, Lee. She took the city bus.
She came to you on the bus, and then
yes.
Did you give her like Uber money back, or did you send her back on the bus?
No, I was like, I just took the bus home from prison. You can take the bus back home to your mom's house.
Oh my,
Squeak out.
that'll be the I have so many questions about that. That'll be the second time we're on. But
Sounds good.
I do want to say that it's already out. You released a book about this, right?
Yep. Yeah.
It's called Days of the Trap.
That's right.
That's it right there. And where do people find it?
They can find it on Amazon, on barnesandnoble.com. You can go to my website, Johnny Mitchell Comedy. It'll take you right there to the link.
Oh, you got it at Barnes and Noble too?
Yeah, it's Barnes and Noble. A couple of other abstract book sites, but basically you're going to Barnes and Noble or Amazon. You just type in Days of the Trap, Johnny Mitchell, my name. You'll see that pop up. Freedom is just $1 million away. And it's about the saga. It's about the era of Prohibition and the final days of what used to be called the trap, right?
That's wild.
Yeah. Man.
So, and then you also have a podcast, The Johnny Mitchell Show.
I do, The Johnny Mitchell Show. Yeah, you can find that on YouTube, on iTunes, all of it. We have a good time. And
then I guess the last question is like, at this point, can you enjoy weed now, or does it like give you bad memories? Like,
no, I enjoy weed.
You're back to weed now. Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild. And do you have social media?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram at Mr. Johnny Mitchell. And that's Mr. Johnny Mitchell.
And how do you spell Mitchell? Just so they know.
Mitchell.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm all over YouTube now too. I'll probably have to get a TikTok, but
yeah, you should do it with all the people who are in jail right now. You can
right.
Come back in on that. Oh my God. Well, thank you so much, Johnny. This was great. I'm actually probably going to release this tonight or tomorrow. So I'll let you know. I'll put the link up when I tag you and stuff.
I would love that, man. I would love that. And come back to LA soon, dude.
I can't wait to come visit. Actually, speaking of that, do you have any dates that you're going to do some shows?
Oh gosh, I don't have any dates right now. No, we have a bunch of San Diego dates lined up for the summer, and we have Austin dates, but I don't have we're still locking down the venues and shit. So
okay, perfect.
But just follow me. DM me if you want to come see a show. It's like I'm very responsive. I'm always plugging shit. So it's building back up, man.
You should like brand yourself like the comedy plug. You just you're plugging like I'm the
comedy plug.
I like it. I see it, and I'll be your manager. I just get 10% now.
I like that. Buddy.
Thank you so much, Johnny.
Thanks, buddy. I'll talk to you later. All right.
All right.
Take it easy.
Wasn't that awesome? Well, I have so many more questions. That's a crazy story. I mean, it's just I can't even imagine the stress that he was under, and just going but also making $1 million a year, no taxes, going to the Ritz-Carlton in New York. Oh my, those couple of years must have been amazing. When it's going well. Like those couple of years, I almost wonder. I should have asked this. Like if it's if someone could tell me listen, for 2 years or 5 years. No, I think he had 8 years, but not all of it was making $1 million a year. But let's just say for 4 years, you're gonna make insane money, hundreds of thousands a year, up to $1 million a year, no taxes, fucking anything you'd want, girls, restaurants, vacations, you get that, but you are going to have to spend about 2 years in prison. It would be a hard no. It would be oh, I know I shouldn't, but that does sound amazing. And but I mean, county jail sounded worse than prison, but all of it would be awful. I wouldn't do well anywhere because I'm not good at basketball like Johnny said he is. Of course he's good at basketball. He's 6'6". But actually I should have given you some shit about that, Johnny. You're 6'6". If you're not good at basketball, it's a little bit less impressive that you are good at basketball. No, I'm just. I don't know if I've made a basket my entire life. I must have made one. I don't think I've made a basket in a game. Just a kid by himself. Free throws. Maybe one or two of those, but I don't think I've ever once played a game of basketball. I look like a basketball, but no, I've never played basketball. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Johnny, for coming on. Check out the Johnny Mitchell Show. check out his book. His book, I have it written down. If you missed it, it is called Days of the Trap. And you can find that on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com, which is amazing that he is in Barnes & Noble, but you're probably going to buy it on Amazon. But support him. He is no longer selling drugs and is a up-and-coming comic in LA, which can be an expensive... That's almost as expensive of a habit as it is to do drugs. And that's it. Do I have anything like special to tell you guys? Oh, we'll see. I can't announce it yet because it's like jinxing it. But knock on wood, by the time next week's episode comes out, sorry, Domino's was just texting me saying the pizza's here. No, by the time this next week's episode comes out, I will, knock on wood, have eclipsed the 50-pound lost mark, which is very exciting. We'll see. It might not happen. I hope it does. I ate a salad and carrot sticks during the UFC last night, so I feel like I should get some good weight loss karma. I did eat a lot though. Like when people used to come on the church with Joey, I would tell them if they hadn't taken edibles before, I'd be like, "You're gonna have the best breakfast of your life tomorrow." And like when my tolerance was up, it would still affect me the next day. But now that my tolerance is way down, like I took 100 milligrams on Friday for the watch party on Patreon, and then like yesterday, like I woke up still kind of high, but then like by the time dinner time at like 7 came around, I wasn't high, but I still had the munchies. Like, cause actually, I deserve a medal or like a chip of some sort, and not chips, but chip, like some sort of pin, because it was the first time ever in my life that I did not eat. I didn't even have a stick of gum with the edibles. I didn't have any. I fought the munchies all night. And then last night I stayed below 1,800 calories, but I ate a lot. Like I had some steamed dumplings. I had, what else did I have? I had some shrimp with green beans and mushrooms on a baked potato or a steamed potato, I guess. No sour cream, which was very upsetting. And then this was the worst part. I was still hungry, and I made a salad and I ate a bag of carrot, like literally like at least half a bag, and I feel like I finished the bag of carrot sticks, and it was just depressing. I mean, it's good to lose the weight, but I miss eating pizza and wings during fights. And yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I'm hopefully gonna hit that 50-pound loss mark. It's gonna be about 3.5 months, I think. Not even, cause no, I started December 2nd. So it's going to be 3 months and a week, I guess. And, you know, I don't know. I feel like 80% normal. I do miss eating whatever I want. It's weird with the chemicals. I do miss fast food. I know I shouldn't, but like I would love to go to Wendy's or fucking something, but I'm sticking to it. No French fries. Oy. Yeah, Joey, I think I told the story on here, but when my dad's birthday, I got some French fries, and I was still under my calories, but I had French fries, and there was a picture taken of it, and I got in trouble for that one. But no more French fries. I do have to. If anyone knows like I don't know if there is a food therapist or like a therapist who deals with like. I guess it's technically an eating disorder. I don't have, knock on wood, bulimia, or obviously I don't have anorexia. But I would love to know like why I reward myself with food. Or even if they can't tell me why, like a way to like reprogram my brain sort of. Because even now, like for the 50 pounds down, my plan is to make air fried so it's healthier chicken wings. No French fries or anything, but like air fry some chicken wings. No butter, and like they're not fried, so they're not actually too bad for you. But I know that it's probably not a good thing to like reward myself with food, because like this is going to be something that I don't really ever get to stop doing. I don't necessarily have to intermittent fast forever, but I do have to at least keep it like in a year or so when I get down to where I want to be. Because we'll see. I mean, so in 3 months I lost 50, and I know eventually it will slow down, but that would mean in 6 months by let's see, April, May, June. So by July, by my birthday is July 20th. I would like to have hit 100 pounds down, and then I guess it's not too crazy. Like I would like by December, if possible. By 2022, I would like to be under 200 pounds, which I'm still like 85 pounds away from at this point. But yeah, I would like to hit under 200 at least, if not like 175. If I could get to 175, I would be ecstatic. I mean, that's more than 100 pounds from where I am now, so it's gonna be hard. And I know, I mean, obviously when you're bigger and you get to reduce your calories, like I'm gonna have to reduce them more, and I'm gonna have to update the workouts, but that's what I'm hoping for, and I'm gonna work on it. And thank you to everyone on my Patreon for sticking with me and motivating me, and it's just been awesome. So that was it. That was this week's episode. Again, thank you to Johnny Mitchell for coming on. Check out the Johnny Mitchell Show. Check out the Days of the Trap book. I didn't even ask him, but Johnny, you should definitely do an audiobook. I don't know if that's in the plans, but if it's not, I'll take a 10% idea cut. You absolutely should do an audiobook, and great story. I would love to have him on again, and maybe we'll do like, I'll ask him if he has like some stories of like actually selling. I don't want to take too much of it because I know he A, wants to sell books, and B, has his own podcast, and some of it's turned into material. But if he's willing to, I'd love to have him on again and talk more about it, because it's just it's a great. I mean, it's weird though. Like it's great content wise, but like I'm sure like it's not it's not the story he wants to tell. We talked about at the end that it's part of his journey, and he talks about it in stand up now, and he's better off for it. But like obviously like his dream wasn't to go to prison, but it was crazy to listen to. He was a great guest, and he's a great guy. So thank you, Johnny. Thank you for listening or watching. Hopefully this YouTube video will actually have video, and it should. We'll see what happens. If like last week the whole system fucked up, so let's hope it doesn't fuck up this time. And I love you guys. Go Patriots. The shirt fits again. Haha. That does feel nice about losing weight. But that's it. I will see you next week for a brand new What Was I Thinking. Love you guys. Bye.